time for the visit with the person of High Strangeness. I have a treat for you today. As you know, sometimes I mention my my staff members, and so today I'm going to introduce you to who is usually my director, Justin B. Wright.
Hi, so Strangeness.
Today you are my guest.
Yeah.
So I thought what we're going to do today, introduce you to the friends, and so they get to know you, and how you got from here to here and where you're going. But before we get to that, I want to tell you a story. Early this morning, as I was trying to wake up, because, you know, it was long before noon, I heard on one of the major stations this gentleman, he had written a book, and he was doing all kinds of things, and he wasn't doing very well. And NBC actually decided they didn't want to bother with him because he wasn't really, you know, in that league. And he went on, You Want to Be a Millionaire.
Oh.
Yeah, and he mentioned his book, and all of a sudden, they're standing in line to say hello. So that's what I'm hoping.
Hoping will happen with me.
We will do with some of this.
Jump start.
Yeah.
As it were. I'm having an identity crisis right now because,
are you?
Well, I'm usually the director, or I'm the host of the radio show, and you're the guest.
That's right.
Or I'm producing my own TV show, and so I have all these power objects and stories running around in my head, and I have 4 different clips to share, and we can talk about those as they go by.
Well, if we have to, we can reverse roles, you know.
Okay.
You just, in your mind, just put yourself over here and I'll be over there. So once upon a time you were born?
Actually, be 31 years tomorrow.
That's right,
my
happy birthday.
As of this taping. That was back in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Came out to the Northwest when I was about 3. Went through school almost the usual way. I went to an alternative school for the first, well, through middle school until about 8th grade. They didn't have grades, and which is a lot like Evergreen, where I wound up eventually getting my degree. It took about 9 years for me to finally get my bachelor's degree. I took a little alternative sidetrack, jumped out of 2 different schools, but I'm happy to be now living in Olympia and making it my home.
So the name of the show is From Host to Host. And so one of the things I thought we might talk about is that what makes us do the things that we do. Do you know why you do the way you do things?
For love, for approval, for kicks, just to see what's going to happen. A lot of the usual reasons. Very seldomly for money, but that has to be a concern.
It's coming.
It is.
It has to come. You know, and so at this time, I guess we'll explain to you that we are all volunteers, whether you at the radio station,
sure,
and with your show here at TCTV, and sometimes we are struggling and improvise, and citizens come forward that find things for us and make things for us. And
well, sometimes I like to say I've done so much for so long with so little that I can do anything with nothing at all, but that's not exactly true. You need something. 2 sticks to rub together.
Bucket of potatoes.
A bucket of potatoes will really make a show come alive. It'd make quite a mess too.
Now your show is so creative that the name of it is Dance O Dance.
Dance O Dance. That's twice the dance as most other shows. And the O, well, I think it stands for Olympia, but sometimes it can be a lot of other things, like, oh my God.
yeah, right. And so even though you only have it once a month?
Yeah, but it's live.
It's live.
And it's taped in this very same studio. There is a lot of room in here, if you're not restricted to sitting in a chair on a little riser.
And then as soon as you're done with one, I see you're struggling. Well,
yeah,
you get creative and get the new one.
All the songs and trying to get dancers, looking for dancers constantly. Coming up on our 3rd anniversary, so that'll be July. Hopefully this show will be airing by then and we'll have people, but we're always looking for people. It's the 2nd Friday here in Olympia.
And there are snacks?
There are snacks occasionally.
There's a couple that sort of stand out in my mind. One was with Herbie, with Herbie the
Herbie the love bug.
The love bug. You want to tell the Herbie story?
When he was alive. Herbie is no longer with us. He's sitting in here, if you can catch this anywhere. Herbie is a grasshopper, and you can see the various other grasshoppers on the table. And the grasshopper is now the official mascot of Dance O Dance. It's the totem animal. I'll play our intro, which the title of it is Giant Grasshoppers. And, where'd he go? Herbie.
You lost Herbie?
Herbie's a little grasshopper in here. You can see him. Luckily, with insects, they have these exoskeletons, so they pretty much keep their shape.
So that's actually Herbie?
This is actually Herbie, which you brought back from Colorado. You had a little old lady sit out in a field and capture him.
Oh my, what a treat.
So I was reading your book. The moral of the story is one person at a time. Autobiography of a person with high strange. Just got to plug the book. And you mentioned somewhere along the line that you were driving and grasshoppers were everywhere. And that the meaning
what it means
is an uncanny leap, forward or up or forward, never to the side or backwards, which I hadn't really realized. And I think that's what the show is about. Dance O Dance is, it takes a mental leap to watch it for the whole hour, to be in it especially, to realize if it's on live and that we're inviting you down, that you can come and jump around. And it was a leap for me to make it, I guess.
Yeah, but you've been hanging in there. I know it gets really discouraging sometimes, you know, when you don't know if you have camera people and who's going to show up. So, and I got to know you on a personal level pretty good. So I think you're just definitely a fine, upstanding citizen in this community.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and I'm trying to
tell it to the judge.
Tell it to the judge. What did you do now?
No, it's the same thing. Park in the wrong direction.
That's right, you did.
Right.
Yeah, you just got a new car. I mean,
yeah.
Your first time car owner?
And that's, I was 30 before I got my license, and a week after, I bought the car from you, and it's been running well. I really enjoy having it, which I didn't think I was reluctant for many, many years that it's so dangerous and so expensive and so on, but it's very liberating to haul stuff around, to see things off the path where the bus doesn't go, and with the bus cuts to go places on Sundays. So.
And then you immediately parked?
I parked facing traffic by the library.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the universal cough. So if you see it, say, oh, there comes Justin. Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed since we've been associated with my show here is that I don't know if you realize it or not, but you are very intuitive, you know. Because, and the reason I say that, sometimes we talk about something and you will superimpose something behind me before I even say it. So how do you explain that?
Well, practice, I guess. Study into the mystical realms, to be ready, have quick reflexes, through dance maybe as part of it. And another part I guess I have to attribute to my heritage on my mother's side there. Very mystical. My grandfather, Opa, we call him. He's a Dutch-Indonesian man, and so is my grandmother. He's very much into the belief of reincarnation and Edgar Cayce, and always said that he was an ancient Egyptian or from Lemuria or from Saturn.
Well, that covers everything,
That
so
covers
maybe we are
everything.
related, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, how wonderful.
So I think everybody has these powers. As my little brother Nick, who's about to be 10, says, you have to get used to your powers.
That's a
I
good
thought that was
point.
very wise for his years.
Yeah, that's really true.
So you have to practice. You have to be willing to hear the little voice that says, camera 1, camera 2, both cameras at the same time. Now we're sitting on top of the cropper there, I see.
Oh, how wonderful, yeah.
So I can't wait to take a ride in that someday.
Actually, I finally, after a long struggle not being able to park it, you know, because I have a new landlord and well, he hasn't awakened yet, so he doesn't have a clue what the grasshopper really stands for, because it's really an icon, you know.
Yeah.
And so the one of the restaurants in the area allowed me to park there. So the grasshopper is back in, you know, back on the street. We did a food drive, remember, thanks to your show?
Yeah.
Back at you.
Back at you. That's the name of my radio show. It's on KAOS Radio, which is, you know, you can see the coffee cup right here. KAOS 89.3 FM. And I'm on Tuesdays at noon until 2. Until further notice, anyway. If I have to get a real job thanks to this or other diligent efforts at pounding the pavement, then I may have to give that up. But.
And sometimes the lazy people, unfortunately, don't get KAOS because somebody hijacked the airwaves.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I can sometimes get it, especially in the car. And KAOS is expecting to get a new transmitter sometime in 2001, which will boost the signal all throughout the area that we currently serve. But it's a good station. It's been around 26, 27 years now.
Yeah, I've been here 30-some, and I remember when I first came, the greeners, we called them, you know.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, people, I think they felt threatened. And then some of us, you know, I've always dressed the way I dress, and then I was often mistaken for a greener. And then eventually the greeners became powerful people in town that helped a little bit, you know. You got a whole bunch, you have a sack of goodies with you, I saw.
Well, I have these fans that I picked up on one of my vision quests. Picked this up in Indonesia after I graduated from Evergreen. And actually it's a fighting fan. And I have 3 of them in different colors. Because I studied an Indonesian martial art, which is related to Kung Fu and Karate, for several years. And so when I went over there after graduation, I figured I needed to get to the roots of the style. And this was something that we hadn't practiced here in America. But now it's mostly decorative.
Well, there's a new thing, you know, people branch out, and because this is America, sometimes we can create our own job and our own destiny. You ever think about teaching something like that?
Well, I hadn't.
Oh, let's put it out there. And then I understand you have a young man that you're friends with that viewers met. His name is Jeremy. He's the one that taught you how to play the didgeridoo. And
Zachariah. He said Jeremy.
Why do I call him Jeremy?
I don't know.
Always, that's right, Zachariah. Here we go.
Zachariah McDermott, yes.
That's who
he
it
was
is.
my roommate for a better part of a year.
Yeah, and so,
Got rid of him finally.
So we can go sit down in the park and you do martial arts, and he can play the didgeridoo, and I can. I'm not a palm reader, so I don't know how to do that, but we'll find something to do.
Yeah.
On an emotional basis, what do you go through now that you've decided to do the shows and to present them to the public? Can you share a little bit what do you go through from the time it forms as a thought in your head until we actually see it?
Well, it's a struggle, it is. It's a lot of brainstorming, note-taking. I talk out loud to my roommates and friends, constantly mentioning it. I go online, I go onto message boards, and like Easter is coming up for the next show, which we're taping this Friday. So I got a lot of stuff out of that, a lot of downloads from mp3.com and various places like that. And at the music library, I have to go through and preview music, set decorations. I consider not only the main holiday of each month, like Easter is the main holiday, but also things like taxes are due in April. So hopefully there'll be maybe a thing off the side that will reference that in a little way, or songs, or Earth Day, Arbor Day, things like that, that I can blend it all in together. I do a lot of thrift shopping, try to pick up cheap things and then bring them as close to the camera as possible so that it looks like it's bigger, there's more of them.
I think sometimes that's our way where we feel we can make a difference. Do you ever feel like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I really address that emotionally when I go through it. The struggle of it. It's this love and, you know, sometimes hate relationship, like
It is.
they don't care, or
It is.
why bother, nobody's coming.
A love-hate relationship, yeah, you hit it right on the nose.
And as the director-producer, I often feel that I need to be in the control room taking charge of this instead of out here dancing, which is maybe what I first thought of when I started it. Like, well, I'll get to be out there, I'll just train some people and they'll...
Mm-hmm.
I think the camera people and the switching people, they all have to be from a dance background. They have to at least, or a musical background, to hit the changes with the music and maybe not try and imitate what they see on the other channels.
Yeah, but then, you know, like sometimes when we do run a mug, we seem to be able to pull it together. I remember one time nobody came and I happened to be here.
You have.
It was the two of us.
Yeah.
You know, so but we do take pride in your own way. You are a person of strangeness also. You know, so would you say that is that a trademark, or is that just?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm. Well, I studied, you can see the clowns here, the last quarter at Evergreen, the shamanic origins of clowning. And the clowns are always, they're notorious in every culture for breaking all the taboos and having impeccable timing. And, you know, sometimes, well, when I first started video, it was at Evergreen with a variety show called Infectious Waste Theater, which was sketch comedy and bands and so on. And so many people think that they can do comedy, but comedy is it's so much harder than drama, and I think it's harder than dance, but maybe I'm not giving dance the fair shake it deserves as well.
Well, but you really, you know, you're so creative when you do dance, and I know when you go around town in some of the places, people starting to recognize you pretty good now, right?
Well, they might, and they also keep their distance. There's not like a big fan club. I hear word of mouth that there are people that watch Dance O Dance on a regular basis, or if not a regular basis, once they see that it's happening, that they'll stick with it and watch it. But I also get a lot of irate, strange, bewildered phone calls. The last one was very brief, something like a local station, bunch of goons. They didn't have anything constructive to offer, except their voice, which I've been repeating over and over. Like, what does that mean, bunch of goons?
Well, I think in my own way, I've been sort of...
You've been lucky,
I've been lucky, yeah. The most calls I had, there had been an era where they didn't, they said substitute a show and I wasn't on. And that was, I got more calls on that, and I get a lot of calls when we have the inserts that you hate. You know, because they're scratchy. And
they're scratchy, they're wobbly, or the sound is bad.
Yeah, because everything you do in your own right, in your, you know, in your sense, it's perfect. Even when people dance, you know, you know where everything is perfect, and then here I come and we just improvise.
Yeah. And
we just make it up as you go along, you know. And so it must be hard on you to try to get into my head sometimes, because I don't have a head. We just make it up. What do you like to, what would you like to see happen?
Well, I thought about my long-term goals with dance. Always fascinated me, the technology of the registration marks that they would put on athletes, and then the computer would analyze their movements, and they could do a wireframe, and they could recreate them or change their clothes or whatever. But it was so much with athletes, sports, and the fighting that I think that there's a place for a video game of dance or virtual reality where you can be in Baryshnikov's body when he does some incredible leaping rotation thing.
We did a legal show here a couple of weeks ago, and we was talking about that what we can do with sound and movement that,
Yeah.
and you're not even
Yeah.
there, you know, so we're doing great things. But your guest list is getting longer?
Oh yeah. Well, I have a clip of the web page that lists all the dancers that have appeared on there, and I'm pretty liberal when it comes to who I consider a dancer. If they appeared live in the studio on camera, their motion, whatever their motion was, I consider that a dance. If they were just sitting there, we had an episode where two people were criticizing, they were commenting on the show as it went on, and I consider them dancers. Or walk-ons, people that went right to the back. They were trying to hide in the very back, which is not a place to hide in case you ever come, because you're still right in the middle. You're just smaller.
Oh yeah, they
everybody
almost collapsed
focuses
your
on
door. I saw that.
Oh yeah, they go right to the back.
Yeah.
But about 160 people over the past 33 episodes.
So your webpage is pretty nippy, huh?
It's fun.
But it's long. It's long.
It's long.
A lot of
yeah.
pages.
Yeah, a lot of pages. Lists all the songs, and links to download things. I don't know. We have a lot of clips. We've been going for a while here. Maybe
Yeah,
we should.
that's. I think that's where I was aiming at. Is if we have a clip of the webpage.
Well, we have I have them all set up in a right order. I don't want to mess Bernie up, but the first one is a clip of a dance style that I did for about 2 years. It's a Buto dance, which is a postmodern Japanese dance, very abstract. It took place out in Evergreen, and it went on for the better part of an hour, and there was dozens of people involved, and I couldn't figure out how they had rehearsed. I had never seen them rehearse out there. They were doing such amazing movements. They had the sound was layered multiple times. It was very abstract, but I was videotaping it all and found another camera angle, another tape, and edited the two together. And at that point, I decided I needed to study that with Duran Crable. Thanks, Duran. I owe you a debt of gratitude. And she still performs with Kagami Buto.
Is that the group that was done at the Ethnica Festival? I'm assuming Bernie is looking for that.
Yeah, we should take a look at VTRA there in the first tape. It's about 3.5 minutes worth of stuff. It's I've queued it up to a point where it's near the end of the performance where I can sort of pinpoint it and say, that's the moment right there that I needed to do that. That what they're doing is so beyond anything. Here it goes. I hear it. There we go. So yeah, you can bring the audio up a little bit here. Talk over the top of this. This is several dozen people out there. April 20th, 1994. I had just returned from an extended spring break where I'd been deciding, oh, I need to expose myself to a lot more types of dance, as much as I can stand, take more classes, and videotape it especially.
Did we lose the audio?
I think he's just turned it down in here, but. So this is originated in the late 60s, I believe, with the two main gentlemen in Japan, Ono and Hijikata. And Duran is more of a Ono style, which is more graceful, but she's told the dancers about the different styles, so they do more of the spastic moments.
Looks like it takes a lot of concentration to do something like that.
Well, it takes a certain mindset. It certainly does, because people will criticize you right in the middle of doing it because they're all painted white, and so they remind people of mimes, and they seem to be off balance and wandering around like crazy people or drugged out people or whatnot.
we're grateful that you're sharing that, because sometimes when people see you do something, that's the first thing, you know, you're drugged out and stuff.
Yeah.
And making faces are cool.
Yeah.
And where they just totally think that, you know, you don't know what you're doing. But in essence, you know, even when you go to a nightclub, in this 35 years that I danced, you know, socially, there's always a ballerina. Yeah, you notice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if it's salsa or R&B. There's always one person off by themselves. You have one of the dancers that he does his own thing.
Richard?
Yeah.
Richard with the balloons and the feathers, yes. Well, I was at Thekla last night, and I try to get there on a Sunday right about 9 when it's only Richard out there. And then there's plenty of room for me. So it's me and Richard, and then generally there's 2 other people that show up after we've been out there half an hour. And then it gets crowded, and then eventually it gets too crowded for me because I like to really gesture expansively. And Richard, I guess, with his feathers, he just makes room.
He does, doesn't he?
He does have to fend people off. They want to take his balloon away, or they want to try his feathers. And he's pretty possessive about that, but
Yeah.
he's very graceful. He's been doing that here in town for many years, and he's come to my show about twice, I think, 2 or 3 times. There's always room for him.
Yeah, so a lot of expression, but I'm just fascinated. It's what it looks like. That was just expressive dancing, not a ceremony.
Yeah, not a
right?
ceremony, but they're all, I don't know, they're all very ceremonial in a way, I guess. They're trying to bring a respect to it. There's a wonderful thing they do before they dance, which is honoring of each other. They partner up, and they do this like meditative massage type of slow touching, and it's very erotic in a way, although, you know, she tries to downplay that. But that's, dance has always led to marvelous things between these 2 people.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, thanks, Bernie. We can
that's pretty cool here.
get ready for the rest of whatever it was we were going to talk about.
Well, we were talking about how something originates in your mind, and then we just build on that. And now in your case, you're the director and the producer, so you know what's in your mind.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
Yeah.
Now, the name of the show is From Host to Host. Now here I'm the other host. It's in my mind, but I expect you to know that, and most of the time I don't tell you, so so that creates a problem, you know. Do you see yourself doing that from now on?
Well, one of the things that kept me in Olympia, I was doing this dance style here, and it had me so strongly that I didn't go off to graduate school, that I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay here, I'm going to do that, and I'll videotape that, and that'll be my style, and that'll be my thing. But I also had this kung fu thing that I wanted to bring to it. I wanted to have the strong element and the interactive element. Things didn't quite work out that way, but when I got the training at TCTV and I realized that some people have had shows here for 10+ years, that and it takes, you know, 1 class a month, or it's so arduous to finally get your feet down on the ground and your roots start going out of your toes, that you don't want to rip up and just go off to some other city where they may very well have another studio. It might not be this big, might be better.
Yeah, but we have some pretty nice equipment here, you know, that my friend Brenda Roberts, she taped up in Seattle, and she couldn't, you know, superimpose and have the fun stuff that we do, you know.
Yeah.
And so from everybody on the station, I think we the 2 strange ones that play with grasshoppers and UFOs and things like that. Now, on your personal growth, how does all that fit in with your personal growth?
Well, for a long time, I was a big stoner. actually. If a day didn't go by that I wasn't getting high, I was sort of disappointed about that. And in the past 6 months or so, I've realized that, well, there is more to life. There's a, putting together something in a more calculated way, more methodically. Hopefully that more people will be able to appreciate it instead of just the people that are at home drunk and high and stuff. Hopefully that I came from that I can still cater to them and give them something interesting to look at, something trippy, something bizarre and weird, but that that it won't be so dangerous, maybe, to myself and to others, and it won't be so wasteful.
Sometimes when we have that growth, I call it the Jonah and the whale syndrome, where you the whole thing is you want to be in one place, and then you get swallowed up for a while, and then you just sort of float around. But make no mistake, while you're floating, you're learning, and then that whale will puke you out, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it's probably a normal thing that we all go through in our personal evolution. Eventually you want to have children.
Oh, yeah.
I think you would make a great dad.
Oh, thanks. I have all the toys.
Yeah, it's just, and you're very wise. That's one of the things that impresses me. You're young in age, but sometimes you're ancient in the way you look at things, and I like that.
I didn't want to become a cliche though when I gave up smoking out or whatever, and I still drink coffee or smoke cloves or watch a lot of TV. So there's still this addictive personality part of me, but hopefully that I can channel positive addiction type things, like, well, when you're watching TV, have a blank tape in the VCR to tape something that's not going to be there in 2 minutes. It's not that that I want to warn the kids and say don't do it, because I don't think that the laws are fair. The war on drugs is just a big waste of money, in my opinion.
Yeah, we covered that with that legal show, with the legal shows where we show people how to select the jury and everything, because things do get a little carried away sometimes, and people just don't have the freedom of choices like they would like to sometimes. So on the flip side of that, no, well, actually, you was talking about addiction. Now, I drink coffee and I smoke, and
yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I don't look at it as addiction. That's part of who I am. So I don't think I'm either in denial or I like it. I do.
You need to have.
I like it.
For me, I needed to have the right person say it to me in the right way, so that I could say, "Oh yeah, that's how I spend so many hours of my life, and so much money, and maybe there is something else."
That's the whole thing. You see, when you have an addiction of any kind, sometimes I ask people, do you do whatever because you see things, or do you see things because of what you're doing? And we found that if you substitute that for something of equal or higher value, you can change just about anything. So if you had your choices, would you like that fan club?
Well, it's a mixed blessing. It's a double-edged sword kind of thing. There's got to. I would like to know from the people that enjoy the show what they enjoy about it, and I would also like their assistance making the show be more what they enjoy. I don't want to have empty praise. And
then you of course you have a job.
I have a job.
A job. That's what I call when you get a little pay, and you take your job money and put it into your other job in your work.
Yeah, I work with the 3 pretty neat guys, Derry, Don, and Gordon, over at 40th Court, and they're disabled gentlemen, so I work an overnight shift helping put them to bed and do things that they need to have done for them.
It takes a very special person to do that type of work. I have other friends that do, and as the population gets older, we'll need more and more helpers like that, you know. And I know a lot of helpers that most time they have to be stoned just to, you know, to face another day, because life itself can get pretty drastic sometimes.
Should we show another one? I have 4 of these. There's another one that's only 1 minute long from a film that I was in, where I was actually doing a short bit of Butoh, and they showed that up in Seattle at the Speakeasy Cafe. It was I didn't get to go see it up there, but I played it on my show, and I had a clip from it going for a long time.
Yeah, so we'll go to that clip, and then you can announce the next one. We get that out of the way in case we get sidetracked with thoughts. Okay,
so this next one is the Honorable Psyche. It was where I was reading the Pledge of Allegiance over and over again. That's me.
Oh.
And there I am again. In my tuxedo.
Yeah, look at the concentration there. Like my grandchildren did our camera, people would say, good shot, good shot. What goes through your mind when you see that?
Well, I think of the story behind the story of who I was as a person at the time, and who all was in the room at the time. I think I wish I could have been more in the film. Well, I think I could be in films again in the future. Okay, that's the end of that clip there. Christine Kennedy made that.
Cool.
My head is on your head. Ah.
Well, we was gonna switch places. I get you. It's so funny. It is. It's so wonderful. I have a wonderful crew. That's all I gotta say. Now, is the lady, actually the lady that caught that grasshopper for you? Her name is Loretta, and I don't have to be psychic, but she's gonna see that and she's gonna call and she's gonna say, oh, that Justin, he is so funny. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, so.
Well, thanks, Loretta, for doing that. And I'm getting a lot of mileage out of him and his cousins here. I have this one here, which is, you put these in water and they grow to, these are from A Bug's Life, but this guy I just got the other day, and he's got a little hollow egg. You can put the other guys inside of him or something.
There is a gentleman, his name is Hutchinson. He is duplicating the Tesla energy, and he works with coils. And you came to the house the other day, and we finished watching that clip after that, and the commentator in that show said, sometimes insanity and genius is the same.
Yeah, sure.
I'll throw that at you.
Sure, yeah. Genius is a wonderful word that has sometimes, has been attracted to me, or I've been attracted to it, and usually it's about something in specific, though. It's about an action, not the whole person. You can't be genius all the time, 24/7, 365 days a year, I don't think. Not for most people. And if you are, yes, the majority of the people will think you're crazy, and you'll be hard to get along with, too. So a lot of the geniuses are only appreciated afterwards when all that's left is the work that they did.
That's right, yeah.
So.
And so sometimes here again, you know, we have all kinds of people. We've taken the friends to a lot of places. Stop and talk to us geniuses just to see why we do the things that we do. Now, this one you just got the other day,
That one I got the other day.
One.
It's metal, and so it'll probably go outside in a garden or something like that.
We have another clip. So we had 2, so there's 2 more.
And then we have the web page.
Oh yeah,
which we can
nice.
we can talk about. That doesn't have any audio at all. Just shows the www.danceodance.com. It shows that. So can we roll that one, Bernie?
Yeah, but if you get on your mailing list, you're really good about very informative. Who's coming and...
Yeah, I'll email you a couple of times a day.
Yeah, but you're really
if you
good about
want.
it. Yeah, you're really good about it and explaining things. And yeah, there it is.
So yeah, there's the web page, various things. It needs to be updated, of course. It's a lot of work to say what is new. Stuff that's new is always happening. There's a graphic Courtney Bennett did for me. It's actually a linoleum cut, I believe, so I'll be able to make embossments from that one. Some moving graphics like the television with static and stuff.
Yeah, and some of the local artists, they are supplying you with posters. And
supplying me with posters. Your friend Margaret has
Brennan,
done some art for me, and some other people.
So every once in a while we get lucky, you know, where people do volunteer things.
Dan Fincannon, I should say his name, because he did the one that you still have in your window with the Herbie for the Thanksgiving show. Big grasshopper on a Thanksgiving dinner tray.
Well, the reason Herbie's still in the window, I have I live in a
storm
mobile
windows.
home. Yeah, I have a storm window. And after I went through the whole trouble putting the window in, I realized Herbie was still there. So he should be tired. He's been hanging there since, what, November?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here they're organized alphabetically by first name, because that's probably how a lot of people know their friends. And sometimes you get to one where they use a pseudonym, or if they showed up and they just ran in here and danced and they didn't check in, then they get to have a name I created for them, like No One or Mystery Person.
And there's just so many sometimes.
There's little animations and there's links to other people's web pages.
How cool.
The people with the gold donuts or the gold O's have been on 6 or more episodes. And the little stars indicate that they did a solo. Oh, there's my mouth. Hello. That's my girlfriend's name there, Karen. Hi, Karen.
But whatever you sign is for solo. That's where it's going to stay, because I'm not going to do that again.
My roommate Luke there has been on many, many episodes.
You know, like when we did the end of the year show, when you add all the people that's instrumental into doing something, God, they add up. I mean, they really add up.
Paul Jurgens, he gets a gold one even though he didn't dance on 6 or more, but he provided a lot of the music. Star Baby, that's a guy that just happened to be here that day, dressed in a dress, wearing a dress, and unknown boy number 1 and number 2. They need some more people in the W's and the Y's, I think.
A lot of people.
Looks like 176 as of last tabulation.
Yeah,
There's
a lot of things.
Some of the still photos. There's somebody there wearing a gas mask on our Armageddon show, which was December '99. We were kind of worried whether or not there would be the Y2K crash, or there was still the sentiment from the WTO protests.
That's
about
right,
the gas mask. I had some belly dancers come in. They monopolized a good part of the second anniversary, but it was all right because they did a really professional job. They had choreography, they had music, they had exposed bellies. What more could you want? Some
That's right.
Cajun dancing back in '97.
Yeah, I have relatives in Europe.
I think that's the end of that clip there.
Relatives in Europe, when they come, they're always happy to come and dance for you.
Right, your grandniece?
No, she's my straight-out niece, my sister's daughter. And that's right, and then her daughter makes her what?
Your grandniece, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
your
whoever.
niece once removed? I don't know.
So, something like that, yeah. They always have fun. Now, let's talk about your radio show for a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
People have been calling in. We've been picking, well, you have been picking topics.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you're going with that?
Well, it's similar to the way I do the dance show, that I try and find something current, some current topic. Sometimes I look at today's date in history and try to find somebody's birthday or something out of the newspaper maybe. But I also have been relying on the KAOS Top 30 because we're sort of this alternative independent station that we provide 80% of the music is from a non-major label, but still we have a top 30 list. And so I try to play that type of stuff.
Yeah, and then last year we managed to do a food drive.
Canned food, and people should always continue to 10 minutes.
Yeah. You should always bring food. That's
always bring food to hungry people. Bring food to me. I'm always hungry. I gotta volunteer here, volunteer there.
That's right. Yeah, that's how we do that. And you know, when you see me uptown in the cropper, you know, nowadays it's back up and out, stop and drop things off. We have people come to my house and bring boxes of clothes for people that we.
I saw a bumper sticker the other day that had the Visa colors and a flag, right? Except that in the middle, instead of Visa, it said Karma. It's everywhere you're going to be.
That's a good one.
I had to think about that.
That's a very good one, yeah. We had a long discussion about the young man that, what was his name? The one that killed himself? Yes. I acknowledged him too.
Yeah. I blocked it out,
yeah.
actually. Rory Luke Kaufman
that's right, yeah.
jumped out of A-dorm.
Yeah. And so we do acknowledge people in the community sometimes.
Yeah, that one was a little controversial. Some people thought that it was in a little bit of poor taste, but my aspect was that we have to have some humor to go with this because it's for us, the survivors, so much.
That's right.
Well, what was so off taste about it was that it was Look Before You Leap Day, because it was February 29th, and he jumped on the 28th, and it came together in the shower. I said, oh, that's the topic. I'm going to go find songs about suicide, and hopefully they'll be don't do suicide. I myself have been suicidal, and multiple times. Usually it's heartbreak or, you know, no career or something like that, and something usually always snaps me out of it.
I didn't know that.
So far.
Yeah, but you're a genius. You got to.
Yeah, that's,
you got to keep doing that, you know. So you just signed a new contract, so you got several grasshoppers to go, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
With the rest of your life, let's say, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Well, I'd like to be living with my girlfriend as opposed to living apart from her and seeing her occasionally. To have my student loan debts at least halfway gone. For a long time I was just paying on the interest. To be more proficient in the arts that I've, you know, dabbled with, in clowning. I mean, I know how to put on makeup and I know how to tell jokes, but not to put together a whole complete clown act or to do martial arts to a better degree. I bought myself a scale so I could watch my weight, and I watched myself gain 6 pounds.
Well, yeah, well, but that's normal right now because here, that's a good opening for me to explain that. The Earth here in the last few weeks has lost 4 pounds in gravity. And so whether you're on a diet, whether you're starving and not eating, either way you will gain between 4 and 6 pounds.
Okay.
Because we need that, you see? In order to
stay down.
To stay down. Let's see, the day of this taping yesterday is what?
The 10th of
10th
April.
Of April, yeah. And since Thursday, we got hit by a magnetic storm on Thursday night. It nipped us on Friday night. It nipped us last night. Even the regular news had problems. The mics didn't work. So our bodies and our minds, we're really struggling with a lot of things now. So all in all, I think you're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Are you going to do the species, the walk of the species?
The procession of the species. I did that last year. I was fire. I led the section that was fire. I had this huge mask on, a backpack, and thing in front and a little hole cut for my face, and I was shouting. You probably remember that if you were there. What's my name? And they'd be like, Mr. Sun, fire! And so I was shouting till I was hoarse, fire! And pretty soon I was like, fire!
You couldn't talk, I remember that. Yeah.
And my girlfriend Karen was Earth. So it would be nice to do that again, or to do something else. I don't have a grasshopper costume. Maybe a rabbit.
I've seen you as a rabbit. You did okay.
Yeah.
Now, did we play all the clips?
We have the last one, which is
let's do that one, so we don't run out of time on you
which
here.
is the theme music here, the theme song, the Dance O Dance intro. Last chance, Bernie, and you know, do what you gotta do.
That's right.
This shows clips from, you know, all the shows pretty much. This is the 1999 clip. It has clips from way back when. It's a flying saucer I created for somebody's project.
Oh, cool.
So now probably people will be like, oh, the Dance O Dance changed its time slot and it's about to start. And the next thing you know, it'll be closing credits for First Enough High Strangeness.
Yeah, well, that happened when I ended up dancing on your shows.
They thought it was your show.
Yeah, and I was so new, and they said, have you run out of ideas already? And I said,
Already,
oh, why?
yeah. So you can see this here in Olympia on Tuesdays at 4 and Fridays at 8 o'clock. This Friday the 14th, well, you won't be seeing it because this show isn't live. But you can see it on the second Friday. You can come and see it in person. You can stand up to the side or wait till the music moves. My new motto is, I guess, just show up.
Now, Greenville actually, Chris in Greenville loaned us the aliens. He actually has a copy of that. Yeah, all the work. And you know, we do appreciate
a little clown act.
We do appreciate all the work that you put in, and then, you know, you do make a difference in my universe, if nothing else, you know. And because it wasn't for you, we wouldn't pull these shows off either, you know. And so it's been really fun.
It's been my honor and privilege.
It is so funny, though.
That was Zachariah there. It's all for all ages there, you can tell.
Yeah, in fact, we thought he was going to win an award, and that didn't work out.
Alas.
I didn't win any either.
I entered in the On the Fringe category, which I resented, like, well, dancing shouldn't be on the fringe, but the way we do it, I guess, or something. I mean, we're on the fringe of the Olympia Society, but not necessarily of all the Northwestern states.
Okay, let me put that out here to the friends. We need a category for our shows, so next year's awards, we have a new category. So let the friends put the strangeness in a category, and then they'll have to rewrite the bylaws. How's that? Yeah.
And that's when we set off the smoke alarm.
That's right, yeah.
Back on Halloween, and there's Deb. Thanks, Deb. So.
We set it off, well, we didn't set it off, but it went off.
It went off because somebody put their clothes on their hanger right on the alarm.
Yeah, that's when there was Korean dancers, and they were outside. It was, what, 70 or 80 of them, and we got interrupted. All in all, it's been a fun show, huh?
Yeah, it went better than I thought.
Everything is perfect for the moment. That is a quote from Ada, Golden Eagle Woman. You brought all your goodies. Is there something that you absolutely need to share before we tell everybody goodbye? I see we covered a lot of things. We have used your time on. We've used that on one of the...
Time's up.
Well,
I have these collages there, and probably we'll get those for a closing shot or something. Folded magazines and mixed media, stuff like that.
So again, we're going to invite you to join Justin on Dance O Dance, and also listen to him on Tuesdays from noon till 2 on KAOS Radio. You do play very nice music, and the name of that is Back At Ya.
Back At Ya.
And you do take phone calls?
Take phone calls.
Sometimes a subject is being put out, and sometimes we go with it.
Yeah.
Most of the time we don't.
Sometimes there's a substitute, and he does the Radio 8-Ball show where you can have your psychic questions answered. Sometimes I call in when I'm having my show substituted because I want to have my questions answered instead of being there.
I did that one time, and my question was, when am I going to get any money? And remember what came out?
Yeah.
Remember?
I don't remember the name of it. But
Not in this lifetime. That's what it amounted to. Wonderful guest. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Elaine.
Come join us again next week with a new adventure. Bye. Perfect.